I'm Elizabeth Gearhart. I'm the marketing director, chief marketing officer at Gearhart Law. And we started this entrepreneurial series years ago, but it was branded as something else. David and Richard and I started it together. And David took it over during COVID and made it into the Entrepreneurial Strategy Series. So David and I've been working on it. So David, why don't you introduce yourself?
Hey, by the way, so if you're joining, make sure you put yourself on mute. My name is David Pasalski. I see some familiar faces out there. So hi to everybody. Morgan, Latricia, Victor, thank you for joining. Teresa Andreotti, please put yourself on mute. Anyway, I'm a senior partner at Gearhart Law. I've been practicing intellectual property and patent attorney, and welcome. And we're excited that you're here to join us for this kind of monthly edition of the Entrepreneurial Strategy Series. So thanks for joining.
And we have some of our other Gearhart Law team members here. So we have Anna Marie Strand. So I call her Gearhart Law's Mary Poppins. Anna Marie is a retired attorney. She worked for quite a few years. She actually argued before the Supreme Court. And she is helping us with just everything that she sees that really needs to be done at the law firm. So we rely on her immensely. So thanks for coming, Anna Marie. And we have some interns here. So Stephen Friedman is a second year law student. So Stephen, tell us a little about yourself.
Hi, yeah. I'm Stephen. I'm a second year. I guess I'm going into my third year of law school at Cardozo University in the fall. And yeah, I've interned here for the past 2 summers, and it's been a great experience. So happy to be here.
Great. And we have Julia Rooney, who is also with us as an intern. Would you like to say a few words, Julia?
Sure. Hi, everyone. My name is Julia. I am entering my second year of law school at New York Law School in the city. And I'm really interested in working with entrepreneurs in the future. So.
Yeah, so it's really been a joy for Gearhart Law to have these interns this summer. They've been very productive, and yeah, it's been a good experience for everybody. I hope for you guys too. So the event obviously is sponsored by Gearhart Law. So David and I and our assistant Alicia do all the work on it, and we get the speakers, and the speakers do work too because they get prepared. So I would like to introduce our speakers now. So first and foremost, a forever friend of the firm. I don't know how long Lisa Ascalese and I have known each other, but we've been working together for years and years and years. So Lisa Ascalese, the inventress, do you want to do a quick intro of yourself?
Hi, everybody. Yay. Good job, guys. David, Elizabeth, and team. This is wonderful. So happy to be here. So my name is Lisa Ascalese, known as the Inventress. My company is Inventing A to Z, where I help people take their products and ideas from concept to fruition and everything in between the right way. So I've been developing products for many, many years. I'm in business for over 35 years. And thank you, Elizabeth, for having me. Yes, and we've known each other since, I don't even know, pre everything, a long time, and just happy to be here. So thank you for having me.
Excellent. And then we have 3 Gearhart Law clients, which we're so happy to be able to feature our clients. That means they're doing well in their companies and their IP's working out for them. So Carol and Barbara with Java Melts, would you like to introduce yourself just briefly?
Sure. Hi, everybody. My name's Carolyn Barbarite. I'm the founder and president of Java Melts Flavored Sugar. And Java Melts Flavored Sugar was created from an aha moment back in Valentine's Day in 2016. I was sitting down having a cup of coffee with my husband on Valentine's Day, and I picked up an individually wrapped candy, and I had my aha moment. I said, wouldn't it be great if I could open this up and drop it into my coffee or tea and instantly get a delicious gourmet flavored coffee? So Java Melts, it was born, and I'd like to tell you more about the product if, when we deem fit.
Yeah, when we get into the swing of things, right?
Yes, absolutely.
And then Sherrill Mosee with MinkeeBlue. Would you like to say a couple words?
Sure, absolutely. Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Sherrill Mosee, and I'm the founder, the designer, and the inventor of MinkeeBlue organizational travel and work bags. And it's all about separating items in your bag. And I can't wait to get into the nitty-gritty of things.
Excellent. And then Brittany Cribbs with Cloud9 Easy Go.
Hello, everybody. My name is Brittany Cribbs. I'm the founder and inventor of Cloud9 Easy Go, which is a luxury accessories brand that specializes in products for on-the-go lifestyles. Our signature item is my invention, a portable memory foam seat cushion, which is all these items you see behind me. This is my seat cushion. And as you can see, it comes in various sizes, materials. It can go with you practically anywhere. The tagline, which David helped me start the trademark process, our tagline is comfort in any situation, because it's so versatile, you can take it with you anywhere, use it in almost any way. So again, I appreciate the time you guys are taking, and thanks for inviting me on.
Okay, that's excellent. Thanks, guys. So now we know what they have, and David has been their intellectual property attorney. So it was important for them to have the intellectual property to get on America's Big Deal and QVC, but I'm not sure everybody knows what those are. So I'm going to ask David to talk about what America's Big Deal is and how it works, and ask Lisa to talk about QVC and how it works. So David, would you like to explain America's Big Deal?
Yeah, so very briefly, America's Big Deal had one season that lasted on USA Network. Hopefully we'll come back for multiple seasons. It was basically a show that was started by Joy Mangano, who was one of the creators of the show. If you're an inventor, have never seen the movie Joy, you should. So she has her own interesting story, and she basically invites 4 inventors, entrepreneurs, small companies to live sell their products. And and you'll hear a lot more from the actual contestants that were on there. But the whole point of the show is that if you can sell a certain amount in that first few, I guess it was about a half hour or 40 minutes of the first hour, then you would have the ability to possibly pitch to big box stores like Lowe's and QVC and Home Depot and Macy's and stuff like that. So it was on for 10 episodes. There were 10 winners. We have 2 of the winners here with us during this hour. And so you'll hear from them, but it was still an amazing opportunity for others that didn't win. It's just being on TV and having that exposure has its own benefits. So you'll hear a lot more about America's Big Deal. You should definitely check it out. And hopefully we'll be able to enjoy a second season of it for sure, because it was really a phenomenal show.
Excellent. And then Lisa Askeles has been on, I think, every major TV station and shopping network and everything over the last 25 years. She's very well known in the shopping media, and she also helps clients take products from idea to QVC. But we have her here today to talk about kind of how QVC works and what it's like. So welcome, Lisa.
Hi, thank you again, Elizabeth. Yes. So I've been working with QVC for over 25 years. I can't believe I'm saying that. So QVC is, you may know, maybe you don't know, it's a television shopping network where you have to have a certain amount of inventory in order to get on the show. You also have to be vetted in properly. Not everybody can just have a product and put it on. And you ladies know who've been on QVC that there's a lot to be done in order to get on. So you have to be all tucked in tight. Dave helped Brittany, I believe, with her tagline and things like that. So you have to be completely prepared when you're going on a shopping network. So yes, I've been on QVC, HSN and Shop HQ for many, many years, and bringing products and bringing other people. I've since launched my own television shopping network. It's called Inventor Spotlight TV, where I help inventors get on, showcase and brand their products on a smaller scale. Because as you know, you have to have thousands of units to get on the larger shopping networks. I bring in new inventors, new entrepreneurs with smaller quantities in order to get seen and sell their products and get branded. So that's Inventor Spotlight TV, QVC, HSN, and Shop HQ. If you have any questions, you can always email me, info@inventing.com.
Excellent. Thank you. So now into the questions. So I'm going to try to mix them up the order I ask, but I want to ask everybody the same question pretty much if they've had the same experience. So the first one is, how did you get on America's Big Deal? And I'm going to start with Brittany.
So the way that I got on America's Big Deal, it has a whole backstory to it. But the short of it is, through a previous grant opportunity, I had a mentor through the SBA SCORE program, if you're familiar with that. And during one of our SCORE meetings, I was telling my mentor, because we were strategizing on how I could get on QVC or HSN. And I was telling my mentor about Joy Mangano, because she's known as basically being the queen of patents. She has over 100 patents. So, so she came up in the discussion. So the following week, after our meeting, my mentor sent me an email saying, we were just talking about this lady, you've got to apply. And it was the application for America's Big Deal. So it was just a whole chain of events that led me to this application. And I don't know, if I didn't have that conversation with my mentor the week before, I maybe wouldn't have even known about the show or the application process. So I feel that everything happens in divine alignment, and that is how I got started.
So what do you think they were looking for? Like, why did your application stand out? Do you know?
I think what America's Big Deal, and this is my humble opinion, I think what they were looking for was an entrepreneur who was getting started, or, of course, established with the foundational things, the entity and patents and all that, but looking for an opportunity, a break.
Okay, great. So
just looking for.
Oh, sorry, go ahead.
No, that's it.
Okay, good. So Carolyn, were you on America's Big Deal?
Yes, actually, I was on episode 4 of America's Big Deal.
So what did you do to get on the show?
Yeah, well, I applied. I had somewhat of a similar story to Brittany, where I didn't know about it from any other way, but I was on social media and I saw something flash that somebody was excited about the opportunity. And I was like, what opportunity? So I did some research and I saw that they were accepting applications, and I submitted an application. And how I approached the questions, or answering the questions that they had asked us, is I did it with as much enthusiasm as I could in the application process. So if they asked me, can you tell us about yourself? I acted as if I was actually physically speaking to them. So the words that I chose, just so that I could increase my chances of getting a first look, and then a second and third, and then obviously the audition.
Wow, that was really smart. What a great strategy. So Sherrill, what was your strategy?
It was, as Carolyn mentioned, it's right about personality. It's about your backstory. So if you normally speak in a monotone voice, you need to take that thing up at least 10x times because they really want to see, how you can come across to the audience. So yeah, that was a part of the strategy. Even though I was silly on video, I took that thing up as high as I could to make it presentable. The pitch,
Okay.
I mean, yeah.
Okay, great. So I'm going to start the next question with you, since you're right here. So did you win, and what was it like to be on the show?
Yeah, I was on episode 1. I was one of the first of 4 contestants. It was nerve-wracking. I didn't know what to expect because I was one of the first ones. So it was an amazing experience. I think the way I approached it, because, just because it was so nerve-wracking, is really doing the best that I could. I knew that if I did my very best, no matter what the outcome was, if I practiced, and they really helped you with all of that, practice, do my best. And as my daughter would say, your product the best, so you can tell your best story, but just don't mess up, Mom. So she put that pressure on me. But it was an awesome experience. It really, really was. And I won that episode, the first person to win the first episode. It was awesome.
So what did you get for winning? What happened?
Yes, so the person who sells the most inventory during a time period and while you're on the show, at least $30,000 worth of inventory, you win that episode, and then you have an opportunity to do what they call a last pitch in front of the judges there, and you have an opportunity, depending on what judges think that your product would do well in their stores, to present that product. And so I chose Macy's as my retailer and won $100,000 order. So yay! Can't
Yay.
believe it.
Yeah, that's awesome. So
Yeah.
Brittany, can you answer the same question? So what was it like? Did you win, and what happened as a result?
Yeah, absolutely. I'm pretty much going to echo what Sherrill said. So I was on season 1, episode 2, and I won that episode. And just like Sherrill said, you don't know what to expect because it's a new show. So nobody knows, what everybody's kind of, going through this in the same way. So the fact that the staff helped so much and we're so it was welcoming, which I was surprised because TV has a bad rap of sometimes being cold, but they were really welcoming and helpful, and made me feel really comfortable going into it because we practiced and practiced and practiced. And any questions that I had, they went above and beyond to help and just make the experience as comfortable and easy as possible. So the experience was amazing. And I always say this, I did win the episode, which is amazing. But I feel like that was the cherry on top, because just being on the show and getting that exposure, getting that marketing, you couldn't pay for that. Being on a nationally syndicated show, whether you win or not, that's the prize. Getting to put your brand out there, that's the prize. So I got offers from all 3 of the big box retailers, Macy's, Lowe's, and QVC. And I chose a deal with QVC, and I got a $175,000 purchase order deal with QVC.
Wow, that's awesome. So
Thank you.
Carolyn, same thing. What was it like to be on there? Did you win? And then what happened at the end?
Yeah, so I was again, Java Milk Flavored Sugar was highlighted on episode 4. I see one of the contestants that I was on, Chris, I see you. So hello. He was incredible also. And it was an unbelievable experience. I did not win my show, but I'd like to, echo what Brittany said. Everybody wins who gets on the show. It is a feat to get on the show. It the application process, the audition process, the preparation you have to have. My episode got moved up actually, so I was supposed to be on later in the season, and I got like an email saying, Carolyn, we need you on sooner. Can you get everything there sooner? So I can't even begin to tell you. But everybody was incredible from, every aspect of the show, the opportunity, the gratitude, just everything to show my girls. I have 3 daughters, 26, 27, and 29, Danielle, Kelly, and Jessica. And just for them to witness what everybody, all the entrepreneurs had to go through. It was just an incredible experience. So although I didn't win my episode, I feel like I won 100 times over for sure, and to be inspired and to be around such creative people, it's a gift. It really, USA Network and Joy Mangano and the whole crew, it was a gift that I'm forever grateful for.
Excellent. So I do want to go to Lisa now. And Lisa's been doing these TV appearances and helping sell products for over 25 years, as she said. So Lisa, what are really the benefits of going on the media no matter what happens? Whether you win, you lose, going on TV or radio, what are the benefits for entrepreneurs?
I just want to congratulate Brittany and Sherrill and Carolyn and just what you said is so monumental about just whether you sell anything or not, whether you sell a product or you don't sell a product, you get on QVC. So many people have the idea that because they're getting on QVC or going into Macy's that they're going to sell millions of products. That's not necessarily the case. The branding is everything. The opportunity to get there is everything. It's everything. It brings your brand up to a whole nother level. And so thank you for sharing that, because again, a lot of people get disappointed when they get on and they don't sell. Think about the exposure that you've just received from being on national television. So that's a great point that you made. Okay, now I'm sorry, Elizabeth. What was your question? I was stuck over there. I was stuck back there.
Well, that was pretty much the answer to it. I mean, really, people, I think a lot of us are afraid to go on TV. I know when Richard and I started the radio show, we were petrified. Even though it was recorded and edited, we still were terrified. But in today's age, it's probably the best way to get your message across is if you can force yourself to go on TV or radio, right?
Oh, for sure. Definitely. A podcast, anything. Just say yes. Just say yes to getting your brand seen. If somebody asks you to get on their podcast, I mean, you don't want it to be too rinky dink, but get on, say yes, get the exposure that you need to get your product out there. So yes, that's the answer. Just say yes.
Just say yes. Okay, so we've been talking about QVC, and I guess we can lump in Home Shopping Network. Did they merge together?
Yes, they did. QVC did purchase HSN, so it's 100% owned by QVC. And,
Okay.
however, they're separate entities. The buyers are different. The category buyers are different. So when you're pitching a product to HSN, it's the HSN buyers. QVC is QVC buyers, and they make that very, very clear.
Okay, so Sherrill, you were on QVC, right?
My product was. I did not
Okay.
have the opportunity to go on early on during the COVID years. That's when my product went on.
Oh, okay. So what was that like? Did you sell a lot? Did you get a lot of recognition other places from that?
You know, as Lisa mentioned, it's important to get in front of your audience. So it was great because not only selling the product on TV, as I also was on the QVC.com. So a lot of different channels.
Okay, great. And Carolyn, you were on QVC, right?
Yes, I actually had the opportunity to go on QVC prior to COVID with my older version of Java Melt's flavored sugar. So when COVID hit, I was forced to rebrand and reformulate and come out with a less labor intensive product. And so my experience on QVC was incredible. I got to go on twice with Java Melt's flavored sugar, and reflecting sales. They give you like benchmarks. So say, I'm just going to throw out numbers. Say my segment, you had to sell $8,000 a minute. Java Melt's probably sold maybe $6,000 a minute. So they give you like a second opportunity to come back at the show that they segment you for. And I did get to go back, and I fell like just short of the benchmark again, but the experience and the amount of product that I sold in 2 8-minute airings was remarkable. I remained on QVC.com with the old product until the old product was no longer available. Otherwise, I would still be on QVC.com right now with it. Incredible experience. Same thing with America's Big Deal. I did wind up selling a lot of product in my 2.5-minute airing or overall over the hour. I just didn't sell out, and the winner of my show sold out. Great experience for any, like Lisa says a million times, put yourself out there again and again and again. It gives your company branding and extreme credibility.
Excellent. So I'm going to do, since Brittany is not quite on QVC yet, I want to ask her a question just for her. So Brittany, you've had great success with your product. So where are all the places that you're selling your product now, and how is that going?
So that is going amazingly well. And it's funny that you asked that because I just recently resigned from my day job. I worked in the property management real estate field for 7 years. And in April, I resigned from my day job so I could focus on Cloud9 EasyGo full time. And what I've been wanting to do for years, but just didn't have the freedom to do so, is do different expos and conventions. So as soon as I get off of the call here, I am headed to my storage facility, packing up. Well, I already packed up 800 cushions. I'm finishing all the other stuff I have to pack up. And 6 o'clock in the morning, I'm headed to North Carolina for a convention. So what I'm doing right now is what I've been wanting to do for years. So I'm going on the road. I'm going to these conventions and these huge expos and putting my product in front of people face to face, because I work best face to face. I did that for years, and now I'm able to do that. So my business model is, of course, I have my website, my e-commerce site, cloud9easygo.com. But now I'm able to work in that other avenue of these face-to-face interactions and getting those sales. And it's just, I have my strategy laid out of how I'm going to reach my first $1 million. And this is just one of those legs, working the conventions.
Wow, I am so impressed. That's amazing. Lisa and Gearhart Law have a client that we actually met a long time ago, Kevin Lane, and he did the same thing that you're doing. He just went places. He has a toy. He just went places and played with this toy on the beach. And he just works all the time, and he's had a lot of success that way. So congratulations. That's a great way to go. Yeah. So Lisa, I had one leftover question for you from the QVC. So is it better to try to go on QVC yourself with your product, or is it better to hire somebody or have someone else go on for you?
That's a great question, Elizabeth. Do it yourself. I believe Brittany said it. You sell your product best. You sell your product best. No one knows your product like you do. Can you imagine watching somebody else go on air with your product and like messing it up and not giving all of the key that they need to give? That's very frustrating. You have the opportunity to go on, unless you're so camera shy that you just can't do it. But when you get up there, just your authentic self, and nobody can give that emphasis to the product but you. So do it yourself if you get the opportunity. I know, Sherrill, that sometimes they just put products on and showcase them over and over again, which is still great. But we've got to try to get you back on there, girl. You, yourself.
Oh yeah, absolutely. I was ready. I had went through the training that QVC offers. Is just that my training was in February. I was certified to go on, and then COVID hit, in March. And so they stopped all of the guests going on. But yes, I would love to.
Yeah,
Thank you.
Let's talk for sure.
Yeah, you should talk to Lisa. So Sherrill, since we have you unmuted, so where is your business right now? What are you doing? Where are you selling? How's it going?
It's going wonderful. I actually launch in Macy's in September. Prayerfully, the supply chain moves like it's supposed to. So September, October, you will be seeing MinkeeBlue and Macy's. And I need everybody on this call to buy a MinkeeBlue at Macy's, because I need to be successful at Macy's. I do direct to consumer, but other partnerships have opened up. I have a collab that I'm doing with Ann Taylor. On Monday, I'm going to be talking to MGM Resorts. So there's a lot that's happening over here at MinkeeBlue, and it's all exciting. But you just still got to keep on pushing and growing the business. But it's all good stuff.
Yeah, it's constant work, right? Well, just if I could throw my 2 cents worth in, I shop so much at Macy's that I actually have a personal shopper there, and I make appointments with her, and I go sit in the dressing room and she brings me stuff. But when MinkeeBlue hits Macy's, she's at Short Hills Mall, I'm going to go tell her she has to sell MinkeeBlue to everybody.
Yes.
So Carolyn, what's going on with the flavored sugar? Oh,
Yep.
you're muted.
Okay. Yeah. So after after America's Big Deal, the exposure was incredible. And again, I'd like to reiterate, it gives you tremendous credibility. And I had been, prior to COVID, I was working with a coffee company, and I wound up being invited to their training facility. So it was the Lavazza training facility recently, and I got to showcase Java Melt's flavored sugar to the training coordinator. He's the head barista, this amazing gentleman, Frank, and I do have Java Melt's flavored sugar being entertained by them. At what level is yet to be determined, but just the opportunity and the incredible impact that this Java Melts, the innovation, because it's a product that it's currently not available on the market. And I do have a patent pending, which is very important through Gearhart Law and all of David's amazing help there. And in addition to that, Aramark Healthcare Plus has piloted Java Melt's flavored sugar packets at 4 of their incredible hospital facilities. We came up with these amazing tent cards that highlight all the features and benefits of Java Melt's. I am a 4-time national award winner for a better for you product. So rather than the syrups, powders, and creamers that have a million negatives to it, Java Melt's checks every box. The healthcare system really is trying to promote healthier options, portion control, made with pure cane sugar and natural flavors, low calorie content, non-artificial sweeteners, and recyclable packaging. So I just, I'm hoping that the pilot, as Sherrill says and Brittany says, you never stop working hard, you keep going out there, but the opportunities are really tremendous right now. And I can only hope that Java Melts gets embraced by the masses and continues to grow, and I'm able to, enrich everybody's lives by, flavoring and sweetening their food and beverages.
We certainly hope so too. It's a great product. And honestly, I do think personally that for all 3 of you, that having these credentials of having been on these TV shows and being recognized as serious business people enough and having your act together enough to go on these shows really does help catapult you further along. But Carolyn, you mentioned something I want to bring up to David. David, what role do you think they're having intellectual property played in this?
That's a good question. I don't know if I think it's an important role. I mean, I think probably you can get that better answer from Brittany, Carolyn, Sherrill, and Lisa. But I don't know it's the end all be all for at least getting on America's Big Deal. The same way it's not the end all be all for getting on Shark Tank, right? Which you'll probably hear about next month when we have some folks from Shark Tank kind of speaking about their experiences. I mean, from my perspective, if you have something patentable, you probably should file for a patent on it. But if not, then we all know it. You're living and dying by your brands. And so you best be at least protecting your brand, right? Lisa said it best. You best be at least protecting your brand, your trademark, your slogans, your colors. So it's not just about patents. Or a patent attorney saying that, right? It's not just about patents, but it is definitely about trademarks for sure. But I'm sure the producers love it. It's part of the story. I don't know. I would probably maybe defer to Lisa to see how important it is to the QVC producers. But in general, it's just good to be protected. But I would love to hear kind of Lisa's point of view on this.
Right. Well, Lisa has many patents herself.
Yes,
she's a
right.
prolific inventor herself. So what would you say, Lisa?
So it's like Dave said, it's not the be all end all that you have a patent. I mean, when you're licensing, of course, you must have a patent, as far as I'm concerned. A lot of maybe patent attorneys will say that you don't have to, but as far as I'm concerned, licensing, you must have a patent. When you're going on QVC, you don't have to. HSN, you don't have to have a patent. Trademark is everything, like you said, Dave. I'll piggyback that. Is it impressive? Yes. You know, when you're getting up and you're telling a story, my product is fully patented, I have a utility patent, it just sounds good in the story, but you definitely do not need a patent to go on any of the networks. Shark Tank, different story. They'll ask you about it. They'll ask you about the patent, because the more work you put in, and that's work, it's work, you're investing in your product. They'd like to see that. I like to see that. When you're invested, you're putting the hard work in, it's more impressive, because it means, to me anyway, that you're going to follow through. You haven't spent that much money to drop the ball. So hard
Right.
work, another part of hard work.
And I agree. And I think, speaking of trademarks, I'm really pretty interested to see how these company names came about. So, Sherrill, how did you get MinkeeBlue?
Yeah. And as David and Lisa mentioned, it is a part of the story, because the name has nothing to do or says nothing about bags. So you really do have to brand the name. I have an engineering degree, but I started a nonprofit organization years ago, and my organization, I raised money to help single moms in college pay for childcare so they can stay in school. And so when I first started MinkeeBlue, it just with that nonprofit, unfortunately, I had to close my doors just because of funding issues. But while I was working with the moms, I would see them struggling with their diaper bag and their book bag. And I was like, wait a minute, I'm taking the train in the city, and I'm also carrying 2 or 3 bags with my shoes and my lunch. And so when I first came up with the idea for the MinkeeBlue bag, I started with diaper bags, designing diaper bags, because I wanted to solve this problem of not carrying so many bags. And so since it was diaper bags, the name that came to me was PinkeeBlue, and the domain was taken. But I like the sound of it. I literally went through the alphabets and I said, LinkBlue, nah. QVC, no, that's a whole nother business. MinkeeBlue, and that's how I came up with MinkeeBlue. That's the back end story. So it's really about branding it. And so people call me, they don't know my name. They will call me the bag lady, which I accept. I will answer, and they call me MinkeeBlue. So when they call me MinkeeBlue, I know they know the brand, and I'm doing a good job.
Excellent. And I know David will say you have to kind of pick something that is not a super common word, or the trademark office won't allow it, right, David?
Yes. That's a really good point. Maybe I think if we hear the story from Brittany and Carolyn, we'll get similar stories, but we'll hopefully end up with the same result that Sherrill has had with her brand.
Right. So Brittany, I can kind of understand the Cloud9. Like, I am like dying to use one of these pads. I wish I had one right now. I'm sitting on this really hard chair. So how did you come up with your name?
Yeah, it's really simple. It just, I am obsessed with clouds for whatever reason. And when you think of a comfortable seat, you think of clouds. I'm on cloud 9. Like it just made sense to me, and easy go because of the portability, the versatility. So I just put the two together. I like the way it sounds, and it just worked. And a side note, I created my own logo and everything. So it was
wow.
It was just, how I came up with it it just made sense to me. Cloud9, you want to sit on something that feels like a cloud, something super comfortable, easy go, because you want to be able to take it anywhere. So that's the short of it.
When I looked at your website, it looked like people had something spread out on the ground, like they're having a picnic or something. So do you just do things to sit on, or do you do blankets too?
So I have other merchandise. So my brand is to make being on the go convenient. So my mugs, if you go on my website, you'll see thermal mugs that have different compartments. So if you have yogurt, you can put the yogurt at the bottom, and then your granola and fruit at the top, and it has a screw on top, so you can take it with you easily. All my products are meant to make your day-to-day life easier and more convenient. So I do have other merchandise, but the only product of my own is the cushion. And again, the cushion comes in different sizes, different materials. And I'm making it's my baby. I've been working on this since 2016, and I'm taking the feedback that I receive and trying to make it better and better with each iteration. So these small little tweaks that I make, each version is meant to make it better for the consumer, because I look at my product. I'm a brutally honest person with everyone else, but mostly with myself. So when I look at my product, I look at it kind of with a critical eye, and I'm like, if I'm a consumer, what do I want? So I need to fix this. I need to do this. And I've had feedback like Chris Landano, who's on the call right now. Some of his feedback I've taken to heart, and I've made that change. And also I owe him a cushion. I owe him a new version of the cushion, because some of his feedback I took to heart. I made the change, and it's made the product better.
And that, I think, is a huge point for entrepreneurs. I have my own startup. I'm not going to talk about it, but every time I get feedback, I take it super seriously. And really, if you're not making a product that people want to buy, then what's the point, right? And you have to listen to what other people say. I mean, when I first started my company, I had a boring name, and I talked to David about it, and David said, Elizabeth, what's wrong with you? That's so dull. Nobody's ever going to go there. It's a tech thing. So we changed it. But I think that is super huge, Brittany. And that's a really good point. So Carolyn, how did you come up with your name?
Yeah, so Java Melt, obviously flavored sugar, was my aha moment was during me sharing a cup of coffee with my husband. So Java in the United States is a slang word for coffee. And then I wanted to explain as easily and quickly as I could, with a catchy name, what the product would do. So when you put it in your coffee, or now when you're baking or making delicious cocktails, the sugar melts. So Java melts, and we made it one word as opposed to two. A lot of people, said, why didn't you hyphenate it? But if you look at, I did a lot of marketing studies. And even like a company like Walmart rebranded to Walmart, like they took away the hyphen and they made it one word. So it just rolled. And it was the one name that I was praying that was available to be trademarked, because I couldn't think of a better name for my product. So by the grace of God, it was trademarkable, and it's here to stay, and people love it. The feedback over the years has been incredible. So it seems simple, but it really, that there was no other option in my eyes for what I could call my product.
Yeah, I think all these names are great names. I think your name is a great name. So in the interest of time, I have one more question I'm going to ask all 5 of you who've been speaking, and then we'll see if there are any questions from the audience. So I am going to go to Brittany first, and I just want to ask her, what do you think is the most important piece of advice that you could give to an entrepreneur who's trying to get on one of these shows like America's Big Deal?
The most important piece of advice is, I would say, be authentic. And that's throughout the process with the application process, because as Carolyn and Sherrill said, you have to stand out amongst hundreds of thousands of other applicants. So you have to be authentic. They're being generic and saying what you think the producers or casting directors want to hear. That's not going to cut it. You have to be authentic, and you have to show who you really are, and show why this is meaningful to you and why it would be meaningful to you. And I think that authenticity is what makes one stand apart. And I feel like that is partly why I was selected. And these other contestants who were on the show, their backstory had a huge part of it. And of course, you can't just have, this backstory, you have to have an amazing product as well. But everybody that's applying has an amazing product. You have to stand out. And your story helps you stand out, and that authenticity has to go throughout the entire process. You going on stage and putting on this show, people can see through it. People can see through, people can see through the inauthenticity. So if you're on that stage and you're not being true to yourself, it shows through, and normally it has a negative effect. So what I would say is just be true to yourself. You've come this far, and that shows that you have resilience, and that shows that you have something worth fighting for and worth pushing for. So just be true to yourself and do the very best that you can do.
That's excellent. So Sherrill, what would you say?
Definitely echo what Brittany just said. In addition to that is sharing the bad as well, like your challenges, your obstacles, because it shows how you work through them. So, it's not all peachy and cream being an entrepreneur, and you've gone through a lot of stuff to get where you are. So you definitely want to talk about that too, because it says something about who you are as a person. So that's what I would add on to what Brittany talked about.
Excellent. Carolyn.
Okay, so I completely agree with Brittany and Sherrill, but I'm going to take approach, and my first and foremost is to separate yourself and to create the opportunity and capitalize off of it. You have to believe in yourself. You have this ability to think of a great idea and then bring it to fruition. Kudos to you. Anybody who has ever invented a product, whether it's existed on the market and they improved on it, or if they filled a void, in the marketplace and found a problem solver and are carving out a new category, regardless of what level of entrepreneur and what your product does, be proud of yourself and believe in yourself, because the energy that you bring, just there's an authenticity about you and your individuality as well separates you from anybody else in the world. You are special, and you have to believe that you deserve a place. And I feel like that positive energy and the confidence, step on fear. I always say, face everything and rise. Don't worry about what could happen. Just worry about getting the opportunity, and everything else will fall into place. You just have to go for it. And I'm a big believer in inspiring and motivating people and helping those that are coming up behind us.
Well, Carolyn, I think if you wanted to make a rocket to go to the moon, you could do it. That's a great attitude. And then I'm going to go to Lisa now. So what advice would you give to entrepreneurs for getting on these shows, Lisa?
Super simple. And those were wonderful, wonderful answers. But you got to get there. So in order to get there, you've got to fill out those documents and take no's, a lot of no's, right? So my answer is never reach out once. I've had people say to me, I called you and you never got back to me. Really? Once? You keep on emailing, you keep on sending in those applications. And I'm sure Sherrill and Brittany and Carolyn, you do the same thing over and over again. You don't send in an application once and wait for a response and end it. Don't drop the ball, keep on going, because as you're all saying, you're special, your product is special, you're standing out, you're doing all the right things, but stick with it. Don't stop. Keep on pedaling, keep on moving. Don't drop the ball, okay? Out of disappointment and fear, just keep on moving.
That is excellent advice. And David, you've had quite a few clients, not only go on these shows, but on Shark Tank. What do you think an entrepreneur should do to get on these shows? What advice would you give?
First of all, can I just say how awe I am in all of you ladies tonight? Like, oh my God. Like, actually, it's night for me because I'm calling you from a foreign country. But like, honestly, the three of you are probably the epitome of like what makes up success, whether you're on TV or not. So bravo to all of you. I do have a question for Lisa later, but I'll get to that after. What I see as the common thread, I think, among the clients of mine that have been on TV, in addition to what everybody said, is probably organization, like being just organized. That's a, sometimes you might not be able to do that for yourself as an entrepreneur. And so you might need help doing that, but being organized, whether that's your company, that's your financial records, whatever it is, it's just organization, right? Like having your shit together, like really, really goes a long way. And so I've seen that. Like, you're just on the, like anybody that's, gets on these shows, just, they just know it inside out, upside down, left, right, up. They just know it. They just got it. And that's a trait that I think a lot of entrepreneurs have, but some of them, might not have it, but have at least the understanding that they need somebody else to help them organize. And that's something that's important as well. Yeah.
Excellent, thanks. So before we go on to general questions, we have one question in the chat right now. If you haven't gone in the chat and put in a little blurb about your company with the link to introduce yourself, you should do that now. And then to anybody who wants to save that, at the bottom, there's a smiley face and 3 little dots. And if you click on the 3 little dots on the bottom right, it'll say save chat, and it saves it to a text file on your computer if you want to do that. But the question we had, and this is for you, David, is from Yogi Fitness Mat, which is Joanne. And is hi, Joanne. And she wants to know, what about generics of your patented brand? So what if you have a patent and somebody copies it? What can you do?
Oh my God, that is probably, Joanne, that's probably a question for another session for sure. You should definitely get in touch with me. That's like a whole other topic for sure. There are things you can do. You definitely have options, but we should talk about that offline for sure.
Right. Well, trademarks can help.
Yes.
Trademarks can help a lot with brands too.
Yeah.
So, okay, Chris Landano is saying inventorrescue.com. So there are resources, but if you have a trademark, you can file a piece of paper with the Customs and Border Patrol, and they can stop copycats at the border. I'm not sure how that process works because I'm not an attorney, but there are a lot of different ways to protect what you have using your intellectual property, especially. And okay, so that looks like the questions there. Does anybody want to raise their hand? Does anybody have a question?
I have a question for Lisa. I hope you're still with us. And,
Yes.
and I think it's a common one when it comes to QVC. There's a lot of information about inventory, right? Like you're just not going to get on QVC if you just don't have enough inventory. Can you kind of break that down a little bit? What does that mean? Because there are some companies that maybe have 10,000 units. Is that enough? Or 20,000 units? Just break down that myth of or reality of what does it mean that QVC requires inventory?
Okay, so you can't just go to QVC with a product that's not manufactured, for example, and say, I'd like to have give me a purchase order for this, and then I'll manufacture X amount of units. They want to know that you have inventory and you're able to remanufacture. I'm not going to give you a specific number because things change and vary. I mean, I believe David's on here, and QVC had a show recently that gave many different entrepreneurs an opportunity to go on and sell, and they didn't have to have thousands of units. So just having inventory quantities in a space where you can ship it is important. Okay, varying quantities, we have to find out. Typically, when I pitch a product to one of the networks, I'll tell them what the inventor has or the entrepreneur has. And they may say, you know what, this is great for this segment. However, we need this many, maybe 2,500 units for this type of segment. So it varies. There's nothing that's always when it comes to any of the shopping networks. Everything has changed since COVID. So they're variables. Okay.
Awesome.
Okay, thanks. So I see that Mary A. McKellia has her hand up. Can you unmute Mary, or David, do you have to unmute her?
I got it.
Okay.
And thank you for pronouncing my last name right. First try. It really doesn't happen. Thank you, everybody. It's been a lot of great information, and congratulations to everybody, because the inventor grind is a real grind. And speaking to that, when you're dealing with applying to a show or applying to QVC, how much does, an inventor's background or essentially the journey they've taken to build their business play in the overall kind of story that you're trying to sell? And does it matter? And does it matter for QVZ versus like a show?
That's a great question. So many times now, it's important that you do have a brand, okay? And it all depends on what they're looking for. If you have a widget that's so different and it's the first time ever seen, and you have your inventory, and you have a backstory, it's important to have that. It's important to have a brand. So even if that means having a website, having a sell sheet to support what you have, that's important. Do you have to have 1 million followers on social media? No, absolutely not. But having your act together, as Dave is saying, is really important, because they'll take a look at that. Have all of your social media platforms in place, have your website in place, have all of those key elements organized so they can see that you are organized and you're together. And if they give you a purchase order, you can fulfill because you're organized and you know how to make the wheels move. I hope that answers
Excellent.
your question.
Thank you. It does. And I forgot to tell you guys, so my company is called My Relief Wear, and we do ice packs that you can wear. So I've fused clothing and ice packs, so you have to hold it in place anymore. You can still get things done. Just to jump off that, could you explain what a sell sheet is?
Sure. A sell sheet is a sheet that literally, it looks like the front page of your website. However, showing all of your I don't say wholesale anymore, show your retail prices, picture, a picture of the product, the price, picture, product, picture, price, I'm sorry, and a little bit of a story. It's a clean one sheet item. You can email me if you'd like, info@inventingatoz.com, and I'll give you the information.
Thank you so much.
I don't know if that's in the chat, Elizabeth. I can't chat on my.
I know some people can't chat and they can't save the chat. If anybody has any questions, they want to get hold of anybody, you can email David or anybody on here that you can find their email. But we do have another hand up, Chris Landano. Nice to meet you. Been hearing your name all through this, so welcome.
Hey, Elizabeth, first of all, I just want to say hi to all my fellow entrepreneurs. Everyone did such a great job on the show. Elizabeth, just touching on something you had said a few minutes ago about stopping infringers at the border. I just put the link for our infringement page up on the website. We've connected. It's got a lot of resources, but United States International Trade Commission Section 337, based on some patent protection, you can stop them at the border. We recently connected with another inventor who has stopped over 2,000 infringers coming into the US. So at Inventor Rescue, we got an amazing team and so many resources we have. So please check out that website. It's all free. And I just tell inventors before they spend a dime, reach out to us because I will save them the money.
Excellent. Thank you.
What's your-
Yeah.
I'm sorry, what is your website, Chris?
Inventorrescue.com. Inventorrescue.com. But I was on the show with my tool belt, Track Belt 360, which I'm working on licensing.
What show were you on, Chris?
I was on with Caroline, episode 4.
Of America's Big Deal?
America's Big Deal, episode 4.
Oh, we should have had you on here to be interviewed.
You know what? You always have access. David knows. I don't like to be in the limelight. I love to just support everyone else.
Yeah, I mean, we love Chris, and so he's here every month. So and he definitely does some important work, and he was also phenomenal on that episode with Carolyn. Chris, you haven't even talked about your product or anything like that. Maybe you want to just give a little plug, you know?
Sure. Well, Track Belt 360 was a tool belt that I invented during a building collapse rescue when I was working as a first responder. I was also a forensic photographer for the New York City Fire Department. And in the 15 years of trying to bring that product to market, I've learned so much and resources. And I retired from New York City Fire Department last year. And I found that I went into the depression because I could not respond to 911 calls anymore. So now I respond to 911 calls for inventors. I am an ambassador for the United Inventors Association. This year, I've been to about 7 trade shows, and we are making amazing partnerships with folks all around the country that are being scammed, that are being misled, and we're gonna change this industry. It's not gonna happen overnight, but we've got some amazing partners, and I know what Gearhart Law does is amazing, and I know David for so many years, and it's such an honor to have David involved and have known him for as many years I have. Truly a good-hearted gentleman. I love him.
Yeah, we love David at Gearhart Law, and our interns, and our retired attorney Anna Marie. I don't know if she's still on here, and our accountant Danny. And yeah, so we have a great team here, and we love helping entrepreneurs. And it's funny, the entrepreneurial space is kind of a small community, right? Because people know each other on here, and there are people that keep coming. And yeah, David always puts together a great program for the Entrepreneurial Strategy Series. And David, what are we doing next month?
We've had a few clients that have been on Shark Tank, some that have gotten great deals, some that have not gotten great deals. It's a totally different experience, I think, from America's Big Deal in terms of format. Everybody probably has watched at least one episode of Shark Tank. So we're featuring 3 companies, and it's always the last Thursday of the month. So I think it's August 25th, same time, 12 p.m. Eastern. Come see. It's gonna be really great. There's some amazing companies that have some amazing stories about their journeys. There's a lot to learn for sure. Great.
Well, if there are no other questions, we can wrap this up. It's been an hour, and I know everybody on here is a busy entrepreneur or law student. So
Elizabeth,
everybody's got other places to be. Yes.
Just a suggestion for an event coming up. I believe maybe you guys mentioned it before I came on. USPTO is doing their Invention Con. I believe it's going to be the 12th to the 14th. I know that because we're working with their team at the USPTO on fraud and scams. We're starting to work on some stuff together. But I don't know if they sent it out yet, but it's supposed to be the 12th to the 14th. So
I see Sherrill is going to be one of the speakers there. Oh, congrats.
Yeah, so that's a great resource. Everyone should look it up, the USPTO Invention Con. It should be online if you do a search.
What is that, August 12th to the 14th? Okay,
August
awesome.
12th to the 14th. I'm almost positive.
Yeah,
Amazing.
the USPTO is great. Like, they love helping entrepreneurs. They love helping American business, and they can refer you to foreign counsel too if you have foreign business. But the USPTO is an amazing resource. So that sounds like that would be really fun, actually. But it's down in DC, right?
Well, they're doing a combination of in-person and virtual.
Okay.
Nice.
Well, thanks for that. That's a great tip.
You're welcome.
Okay, so next month, do we have a date, David, for next month?
August 25th.
August 25th, we'll be sending out all the information, so we hope you can join us again. Thanks, everybody.
Thank you, everybody. Thanks, Brittany, Lisa.
Thank you, guys.
Harry.
Thank you.
It was a
Thank you.
pleasure.
Thank you.